3, 2, 1. What's up and welcome back to episode 80 of Pro Pels Talk, presented to you by Boot Crew Media and Company Burger, located at 4600 Ferret Street, the best burger in the city. Before we dive into the show, DraftKings is an official partner of Pro Pels Talk, and boy, do we have a deal for you.
It's a great deal.
You. All you have to do, download the app, DraftKings. Sportsbook app now. Use promo code PPT and bet just $5 on any NBA team to win their game, and you will win $200 in free bets.
Sounds too good to be true.
Too good to be true.
I mean, it's too.
If you do, Pelicans aren't really too good that you bet against the Pelicans, you're probably going to win $200 free. So if they win, you win with promo code PPT this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an authorized sports betting partner of the NBA. Must be 21 or older to do this. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required, one per customer. Welcome back to the show, the home of your second to last place in the Western Conference. Maybe are we last though? Are we last? Because the Rockets are a 48 win streak.
Oh, are they?
They are.
Oh, we might be.
Be back to last. Anyways, Stephen Offner, Ross Tivino, Justin Napoli in studio at the Boot Crew Media Studios, located on Magazine Street. How are we today, fellas?
Yeah. We went to the game last night. It wasn't.
I didn't think you brought it up.
Good.
I can't think you brought that up.
Well, I mean, what else are we supposed to talk about? Not the Pelicans? I mean, shit, we went to the game. We watched that train wreck from about 6 feet away.
It was pretty bad.
Watching Luka on everybody.
Yes, it's not
all over everybody. Hey, Ross, what's up, bud? Nice shirt.
Thanks.
I made that. Yeah.
Big day today for the Saints. I think we might get the W. Don't know.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What about, can we talk about
I'm gonna go out on a limb.
Optimism in this room?
Going out on a limb.
Overwhelming.
He texted me before the game last night. Goes, I'm taking Pelicans plus 3.5.
I didn't take it. I ended up not taking that. But the game before, when we were in here and I said I was going to take it, we did take it.
Yeah, that was because you went off of me. I was the mush that week. I just couldn't win anything.
Yeah.
We are currently in second to last.
Who's last? Houston's still last?
Houston's still last. They're 5-16. We are tied in the win column with the Spurs, Thunder, with the Spurs and Thunder.
Tight.
So, hey, we are on the cusp. I mean, we are on the cusp of breaking through.
If you're watching on YouTube right now, make sure to like and subscribe. If you want to leave some comments, we'll pull up your comments if you're on YouTube right now. So before we get in the show, we got to shout out a couple people. First, Antonio Daniels has been unbelievable for our podcast. I mean, he's truly been not only for this podcast, but just for the fan base in general. He repped the Pels 12 versus the World shirt during his workout. I got to meet him last night, gave him some Not on Herb t-shirt merch as well. We have to get Joel Myers as well. So I want to shout out Antonio Daniels. It's been great. The whole turtleneck thing has been absolutely fantastic.
Is that dead now?
It's been
dead now?
No, we still have a winning record with him wearing turtlenecks, so keep that up.
Okay.
Also wanted to shout us out. Made it to Bleacher Report today. I thought that was a pretty cool thing. Read an article on Bleacher Report. They used our tweets on Herb Jones. So congratulations to everybody on this table. That was awesome. So let's get into the show. Pels get blitzed. I don't want to really talk about it.
Blitzed that's a word to describe.
They just got crushed. It is what it is. They weren't good. I don't want to talk about it.
Well, I mean, to be fair, let's talk about it a little bit. Let's talk about how good Dallas was last night, shooting, 70% from the field with over 70 shots?
I remember that time Justin told us that we were better than Dallas.
Yeah, he did.
But I'm glad actually you said that because we
talked about that.
I sort of wanted to recap a few of the things that we talked about last episode that have sort of like kind of come.
I really don't want to talk. Okay, go ahead.
That have sort of like not come true, but things that we said we'd like to see happen and that we've seen. Cairo went from his is still a little confusing to me because we talked about it that day and then he ended up playing great that night against the Clippers. And then for whatever reason, the next couple of games, he dropped back down to like 8-9 minutes a game.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him. He's shown a little more life lately. I would like to see him get try to find more consistent minutes, right? Not a 24 and then an 8. And then
I think 15 to 17 is a sweet spot.
I think so too. I feel like let's go ahead and get him in the rotation with something consistent. I like there's no reason for Garrett to. I mean, we sort of went.
We're gonna get that.
And then the other guy, we said it, and everybody. The joke was like, "Oh, I thought you were talking about Willie Green or whatever." Billy Hernan Gomez gets in the lineup.
Finally.
He's an energy guy. He brings something.
He's
really,
an NBA basketball player, unlike Jackson Hayes.
Yeah,
he's a basketball player.
Glad to see him start getting some consistent minutes, some consistent run. I've said when we got him last year that he's not the best defensive player on earth, but he's a guy that's going to he can rebound the basketball, and he's a efficient offensive player. I think he's a good offensive player. So happy to see those two guys kind of get into the rotation. We've won a handful of games since they got in the rotation, and hopefully they've made a little difference.
Last night when I was harassing Reggie Bullock, the one thing he did do was the communication for Dallas
is
was
incredible.
I'm glad you got them screaming. You can hear him probably up in the first row. But the one thing I was going to bring back to Billy, he was the only one doing that on the defensive end when they switched over, and you can hear that. And he was the only one that you can hear screaming for defensive help. Here comes.
I actually taught Steven. I taught Steven a term last night.
I didn't know that.
Screen.
Ice in the screen.
The other guy. It's funny you said that because I went last week Clipper game and I felt the same way about Valanciunas. He's those two guys. I think
they're leaders.
Do a great job on the defensive end. And look, neither of them are fleet of foot, the type of guys that are going to be covering threes and fours. That they sort of know their role and they do it, but they make up for some of their deficiencies with leadership, with talking, with communication. So, like I said, I'm happy to see. If like you watch a game and whether Hernan Gomez plays or doesn't play, like. He's the type of guy you want on your team. Yeah. So
he's great.
Happy to see him play well.
Yeah, get some success. And Chris Young brings up a good point. We did have one of the hardest strength schedules, but it does get easier. And that leads to my next point, right, of Zion Williamson coming back. So allegedly Zion Williamson will be practicing today, 5-on-5 for the first practice. I don't know. Y'all are laughing. I don't know. I mean, I just think that I'm a little skeptical on it because I haven't really heard any updates, right? When a superstar is trending right towards and Ross, you brought this up multiple times, is you see workout videos, you see him busting his ass, I haven't seen anything.
I haven't seen him put up a jump shot.
Yeah, and it's just like, okay, well, I hope he does practice today. And Christian Clark came out with a tweet today saying that it's up to Zion to practice today. So, we'll start with Ross, we'll go to Steven. It's been nonstop drama with him, Ross. Just from day one since he got here, do you think that he practices today 5-on-5? And do you think he's on track to hopefully get back here in the next couple weeks?
No. I mean, we haven't. You kind of alluded to it. We haven't heard much. I don't think he's going to practice today, but who knows, right? It's not what we're hearing, but whatever. I still don't think he plays before Christmas. I just don't see how. I mean. Even if he does practice today, right? I mean, 5-on-5, I guess that's, it's the second.
Then they play Friday and Sunday on the road, and they're not going to get full practices there. So it's just going to be very hard for him to get ready.
Yeah, I think at best you're looking at, Christmas, but I still think it's probably some point in January before you see him out there. And then, is there a minutes restriction? I don't know. I'm not. It didn't. I saw the news. It had no effect on me because I don't think he's practicing today, and I don't think he's going to play before Christmas. So,
do you think? No.
It says no. It says no. What would make you think that? I mean, you're going to leave it up to him to practice? You're going to leave it up to him to practice?
I just thought that the Christian Clark tweet threw me off a little bit. I didn't understand. I understand. Why is it up to Zion?
Exactly. If he's clear, if he's able to practice, he should be fucking practicing.
We all talked. Look, we talked about it before we went on air here. We've all been to games in the last 7 days, 8 days. I'm not judging the guy. I'm not saying that he's not working to get back. I don't know. I'm not in the building. All we know is sort of what we see in the little tidbits that we pick up here and there. He doesn't look. I'm just saying from across the floor, sitting in floor seats, he doesn't look like a guy that's even remotely close to ready to play in an NBA game. That's just my very, very, yeah. And I mean, that sounds terrible, right? I don't know if I'm body shaming the guy or what. But he doesn't. Fair. Yeah, he just doesn't look like a guy that's ready to play in an NBA game to me. But
there's a difference between just being in shape and being NBA in shape.
Oh God, yeah.
To play basketball, he's not even in shape. He's round. That's his shape. He's round right now. That's it.
I'm worried from a couple things we've heard, but I'm a little worried. I was just thrown off with the way Christian Clark because Christian Clark's in there and like he's, between him and Will Guillory and all those guys, it was just weird to me that he tweeted out, it's up to him to practice. I just don't get that. That doesn't make any sense to me. Either you're practicing or not. I don't understand why it's up to him. And then also, that's all we have. So
that's the information you got. That's it.
I hope he practices today. I would like to see him on the court because when he does play, he's incredible to watch. And I just wish he took it a little more seriously. I really do.
I'm not. It's unfair to sit here and say that he's not taking it seriously, but it's at the same time. I mean, just eyeballing it.
Yeah, we're not. And I'm not calling him. Yeah. Listen, I'm not into that kind of stuff. Just an eyeball test. Just looking at it. Yeah. What's going on?
Outside perspective of a fan just looking in, it doesn't like you said earlier, you see people running around and you see these workout videos of these guys.
Just every superstar, every NBA superstar, you see it, dude. Like you don't ever see it with Zion. And like he is now being protected by the whatever NBA protocol that since he's injured, he doesn't have to talk to the media. Right. Now, if he practices today, I don't know how that changes. Maybe he does have to answer questions to the media because someone had asked Christian Clark, well, if he practices today, can he then answer questions? If he doesn't practice today, then he doesn't have to answer any questions. And we haven't heard from Zion since media day.
Right.
And that's fine. Like I understand, but still, you would think with all the national media on your ass, with all these fans, all these crazy stories, he hasn't said a word. It's worrisome. So and also, can we talk about like Zion Williamson coming back doesn't fix the problems this team has, and we're about to get into that because Satoransky and Garrett Temple are not NBA players. I mean, he's something last night. I'm not trying to be a dick, but like Satoransky is terrible. He's like average defensively. He is atrocious offensively. Playing 4 and 5 every night. I don't get, and Ross, you brought this up. I want to hear your thoughts on why this is happening. I don't know if it's a trust thing, a veteran thing. Satoransky 15 minutes last night. Kyrie Lewis 15 minutes last night. You can just watch the games. Everybody's on Twitter saying, "How the hell is he on the court?"
Yeah, I don't know.
Last night. What did I say last night? Who else is gonna play
at this point? Fucking put Jose Alvarado out there. I'm serious.
I was saying no. It's
I know he's 5'6", but
no. I mean that's the whole thing, right? Like who's gonna be that guy? Like we don't have anybody right now. Josh Hart was hurt last night. He was for what? What happened there?
Soreness. He had knee soreness. I mean, Ross, like what are you seeing with? I guess Satoransky
look good in that sweatshirt, though.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't really done much to impress. I mean, he's not going to be here long. The one that's more that it's hard to talk bad about the guy because I understand how everybody feels about him and that he's got the whole veteran leader thing. But like Garrett Temple is the one that I think is just getting far too many minutes. And I say that, yeah, and it's a depth issue. But I would just rather see. I mean, I know Trey Murphy's played terrible. But I would just
rather see him struggle.
Yeah, I would
let him get the minutes.
I'm a little bit of that. I would rather see him struggle, I think.
And I think Najee's, I don't mean to cut you off, but Najee struggled too. I'd rather see him get the minutes too.
Yeah, Najee's less of a factor to me. I would rather it's the same exact thing we said about Kyrie Lewis 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago. If there's not room for Trey Murphy to play at least as many minutes as Garrett Temple, he should be playing more minutes. But if there's not room on the roster right now for him to play at least as many minutes as Garrett Temple, send him to Birmingham where he can play. It just doesn't make any sense for him to just sit there. It's not.
Do you think
he played 18 minutes last night? So,
but 18 minutes, like let's be real, he only played because Josh Hart was out, and then we were down 25 most of the game.
Exactly.
Like he's not playing. It wasn't a game. It's like he's not playing meaningful minutes.
This year is just about development. I mean, we're going to get to at least Christmas. Zion hadn't played. It's just a year of development. Like get those wherever you got to do it. I don't give a shit where it is with the main team or in Birmingham, but get those guys as much of the ball as you can because what the hell else are we doing this year?
Something that's not talked about enough, and I think it's very glaring, is that the player development side of things
plateaus pretty quick.
Who have we developed? Honestly,
that's what I'm saying. It gets to one point.
David Griffin has come in, and you can't say Zion because he was. Who have we developed? Who have we developed in the last 10 years? Who have we developed since Chris Paul? I'm dead ass serious.
Marcus Thornton.
He wasn't developed.
He wasn't even developed.
Who is honestly who have we ever who have we developed? I guess you could say Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball.
No.
Yeah,
I guess you could kind of say Lonzo.
You got to give him credit for.
I'll give him credit.
You got to get. Yeah, I mean, you got those guys. Brandon. Those guys got a lot better when they got.
I'm sorry. Let me reiterate the question. When's the last time we drafted somebody and then
Brandon Ingram, when he got here at the end of the year after we traded for him, he was scoring 26 a game.
Nah, I mean, it's not a stretch. I mean, Brandon Ingram like exploded when he got with Vincent and those guys. Like once he got with Vincent, his 3-point percentage went up, field goal percentage went up. Like
part of that is just natural development.
But also that, yeah. I mean, he was young.
What are the options here too? Because we haven't.
What do you mean? What are the options? Jackson Hayes, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Kyra Lewis. What do you mean? What are the? I'm not trying to be a dick, but what are the options?
Well, I mean, Kyra Lewis is like 60 games into his career.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's start with the two clear-cut dudes. Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Jackson Hayes.
I mean, I'm not high on either of those guys, but there was a lot of optimism at the back half of last year and coming into this year. I think we put out Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I blame. Well, it's hard because there's nobody else really to play, but we put him in a bad spot. We put him in a spot that he was not equipped to handle. You're talking
about this year?
I'm talking about this year. Okay. I thought he played well at the back half of last year. Same with Jackson Hayes. Jackson Hayes just had a tumultuous offseason. I think he still has a ton of development to do. I still think he has an incredibly low basketball IQ from a really on both sides of the floor.
Well,
but Alexander Walker has played a little better since he went to the bench, which is probably where he's best fit. And he was drafted 13th or something. It's not
17.
Some of those 17, right? Like
that's fine. I'm okay with
Nah. I'm not coin there.
I'm not off on Nah.
Let's not forget that Jackson Hayes started playing basketball 3 years before he got drafted.
That's what I'm saying. I'm off on Hayes. And to take him
his
number
IQ
8
isn't going to be there. I never expected that. But you think his freak athleticism would make up for that.
But he hasn't developed anything.
I know.
He hasn't developed a post move. He hasn't developed his body. He hasn't developed a jump shot. And this is the thing I can't get with is that all offseason we were fed. Jackson Hayes the 3-point assassin, all this different kind of stuff. I think Billy Hernan Gomez has more made 3-pointers this year than Jackson Hayes,
though.
Yeah, it was all over Twitter.
There were also videos all over Twitter of Steven Adams this offseason splashing threes. I mean,
these are NBA players. They can make a 3-pointer in practice
all the time. Yeah. I mean, it's not that I think his jumper looks, but he just is a guy he's a perfect example of a guy that probably would. I mean, we say it sort of in jest about Kyra and Trey Murphy just because they're wings that really need the ball and just continue to develop, shoot, play with other guys. And so them sitting on the bench doesn't make any sense. I think Jackson Hayes actually would really benefit from going to Birmingham.
I don't understand why he wouldn't.
Yeah. He just needs to play basketball. Mm-hmm. Like just go play basketball. I think when he's out there, you can just see that it's a lot of just running. Like there's not a lot of purposeful. I felt
there's not like there's a lot of running, but it's not like as you said. There's not like it's not efficient running. It should be rim running. He's just running.
It's kind of out of he doesn't seem to be in the right spot defensively. He's always a step or two in the wrong direction. He just is a guy that needs to go play in low stress games in Birmingham. I really think he would benefit a ton from a long time.
A great example is Cam Thomas of Brooklyn. I mean, you saw him just light it up in the G League the last couple of weeks, got called up to Brooklyn. I mean, Cam Thomas, as we know, played at LSU with Will Wade and stuff like that. It's just, you got to give these young guys minutes. And if he's not getting minutes, then what is he doing up there? And that was my problem with Kyra last year and with Stan is that, we were playing all these different type of players and we were still losing.
Yeah, I also think Jackson Hayes is he's significantly worse than Valanciunas is a very good player. And I said this last year. I just don't think he's a better player at this point than Hernan Gomez. I think Hernan Gomez gives you a lot more. I thought he gave you more last year, and we were playing Jackson Hayes a lot. I think he's your third center. So whatever that is, I feel like he's a guy that needs to be. I feel like he's exactly. He's a guy that needs to be in Birmingham.
Couldn't this come back to just having the body situation? Like we don't have a deep long bench. Like if we send Trey Murphy down, if we send Jackson Hayes down,
you just bring up any veteran, just like any veteran.
Those guys
aren't playing.
Yeah, you're right.
They're not playing.
Well, I guess this question, Cody Allen is actually awesome. He's extremely intelligent on Twitter. I think the conversation will be a lot different once the Pels have some on-ball shot creation, which is a good point.
Oh my God, we talked about that last night too.
I mean, we have nobody. Devontae's it's just we have nobody that can create space. Like Nah is not very you could see it with Nah, but he likes to do the step back and pop, and instead of just one move and go.
He did a 7-foot step back.
It's incredible. I mean, I've never seen anything like that before.
It was impressive.
But Ross, is there anybody on this roster? And I don't even Zion isn't necessarily a guy that can create on-ball separation. He's just a bull that will just go downhill and you can't stop him. They don't have anything.
It's not even off ball.
I mean, you didn't have anyone last year. Either.
That's what I'm saying. We haven't had.
I think people make a little too big of a deal about us. I mean, it's not necessarily the shots you want him taking, but BI can get shots off just about against anybody.
But that's not his. Yeah. That's not his thing. He's more off ball, down screens, pin down screens. Like when BI starts dribbling, that's when everything goes to shit. We don't have a guy like I'm comparing to like the best, but like a Steph, a Kyrie, a Donovan, like a guy that can just create. I understand that.
How many of those guys are in the league?
I mean, I can go down the roster right now. I could go down in the league if I really wanted to and talk about it. I mean, it's just like.
Yeah, but I mean,
we don't have any. We haven't had them in 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, but that's something you got to go get at the top of the draft or spend a shitload of money to and give to in free agency. I mean, those guys aren't just floating around. For the most part, all of those, every guy.
Tim Hardaway Jr. Like he was creating his own shot last night. I mean, guys, like this isn't like I'm comparing obviously the best. Those guys are off the top of my head, but Tim Hardaway Jr. is a great example. Like,
guy just got like $100 million. That's what I'm saying. It's not like if you want that, you got to go pay for it.
He was traded for, right? Yeah, he got drafted by.
I don't know. He was in New York.
Yes, he got traded. So yeah.
I mean, but like go back to that. We were talking about it last night. When go back to the ball movement. I don't know. Just watching Dallas last night, it was just fun to watch the way that they would move and get these open shots.
Yep.
Even when we did that off ball, saw Brandon Ingram about 3 times catch the ball in the corner and still have a contested shot after 3 to 4 passes.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's not like I don't know. I don't know if the offense and it's nobody's moving.
No one's cutting. There's
exactly.
The only person that slot cuts. So when I say slot cut, like cutting, like when as a guy drives, cutting from top of the wing and going to get, like you don't slot cut at all.
It's about roster composition too. I mean,
we don't have a good roster. Like let's call it. We don't have a good fucking roster.
Chunks of the game, for good chunks of the game, they have Jalen Brunson, Doncic, Hardaway, Porzingis.
He's a giraffe.
Trey Burke came and gave some
Trey Burke was playing.
Finney Smith, who's a defensive guy that can kind of shoot a little bit, or even like a Dwight Powell, who's a little bit of a stretch big, or Maxey just came back. I mean,
we don't have a good roster.
Like it's a lot easier to create your own shot.
Don't they have Willie Cauley-Stein too? Isn't he out? Is he still?
I don't know. He's kind of trash, but
but I mean, even just another.
The point is if you, I mean, that group of guys can all handle the ball a little bit, and they can all shoot. So if you have 5 guys out there that are able to spread the floor, well, it's a whole hell of a lot easier to get your own shot. Whenever you've got to, you can't just switch everything. I mean, the roster isn't that good.
The roster isn't good, and it's David Griffin's fault. And before we get to the next point, seeing Boban and Kristaps Porzingis on the court at the same time was they made JV look like he was 6'2".
It's crazy. They're
Boban so
and they were playing together.
I know.
We had nobody. At one point, they came down. I think it was
Herb Jones was guarding.
Herb was on Kristaps.
Yeah, it was tough.
He had no chance.
Trey Murphy. So I know we kind of dove into a little bit, and then we're gonna get to some fan questions. Once again, shout out to our sponsors, Company Burger and DraftKings. Make sure to go check out Company Burger, 4600 Ferret Street. Yeah, I'm a little stumped on the Trey Murphy minutes. I'm not necessarily understanding it. I know we kind of harped on it, but I think that Willie Green's maybe trying to send him a message because early on you saw him getting some minutes. He had a really good summer league where Willie Green did coach him. And he kind of took over summer league, right? And obviously you go from summer league to the NBA, it's 2 different leagues. I think he's trying to maybe send him a message that maybe he's not tough enough yet. Maybe he's kind of a little bit of a prima donna. Maybe,
here's the crazy. Can I say that I need to go back and look at it what happened. Cause it felt like the first 6, 7,
he was getting
games of the year. He was playing 15, 16, 20 minutes. He was shooting the ball okay. He was doing sort of what I expected him to do to start the season. I mean, it's tough for a rookie and especially without, I think he's going to fit best next to Zion. So I felt like he was playing fine. The numbers were okay. He was scoring 6, 7, 8 points a night. I felt like he was a plus or around a plus most nights. And then it just stopped.
It really fell off.
Like it stopped. And
I wonder do you think something's there? First, here we go.
Could it just be the frailty of these people?
I mean, seriously, he went from averaging 21 minutes in November to about 7 to 9 minutes in December. Plus, he got some DMPs.
7 to 9 minutes. We only had 1 game in December.
No, I'm sorry. In October, my bad. Okay. I'm sorry. In October, and then in November, you saw his minutes drastically drop, especially after that after that Brooklyn game, it really like at one point you got a minute against the Clippers.
I really want to say, I'll be honest, even if he's frustrated with him for, it's probably defensive. So I would really like to see him start getting more minutes with the Graham, BI, Valanciunas group. Because I think, he's even for as bad as we say he's played, he's still shooting the ball fairly well from three. I think he's shooting 38 for round. He's shooting around 40%.
He's a good shooter.
And so I would like to see him get out there and at least give those two guys more room to operate, right? Herb Jones, for all he does, great. And Herb can be part of that group as well.
Shooting 39% from deep.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I still think he has value on the offensive end as a guy that can just get people out of the way that you have to respect. I don't know. It makes me that the fact that he's shooting the ball halfway decent from three makes me think that it's something defensive.
Something's going on there.
I think everything
toughness type thing.
Last night we saw Willie just basically stare a hole through Naw on one defensive.
Yeah, I saw it. He actually took him out.
Took him out right after.
There was a weird interaction right there too.
I just think there's something going on defensively as a whole. Obviously, last night, last night's a little bit of a freak situation. They shot so well, but still, the shots that they got off were a lot of open shots. Finished a lot. It's just
I think
defensively last night there was something.
And it's hard not to overreact to. We look at it on a game-to-game basis, and we go to the games and everything else, and it, like, at the end of the day, a lot of these guys are just so young that they're still learning.
I'm glad you brought that up. Is that part of the problem? Is it time to start shipping out some of these young guys and start getting more veterans that are productive? I'm not talking about I'm not talking about the Garrett Temples of the world and JJ Redicks and the Derek Favors and the Steven Adams. I'm talking about productive veterans that have been in the league for 5 to 7 years, because we are so young, because we are going through these growing pains, and we're not seeing any type of production. We're not seeing any type of, we're like on the incline. We're like on the decline.
Right. But the problem with that is we have a lot of people with no trade value. So what are we going to put in to trade for somebody? Then
Picks.
Fuck those fucking picks. So we have a lot of people with no trade value, and then you look, and we're not going to get somebody. We've not been great with free agents coming here.
We're never going to be.
We're never going to be that market, even with a Zion and a BI. It's just I don't know. What do you do in this situation?
Ross called it for a while.
We are in the time is a flat circle.
Ross called it a while ago. We talked about the James Harden trade. How do you get a third guy? Right? You have to have a Jared Allen. You have to have
other guys like that. Yeah, it's hard to do, and because the guys that you want,
I do want this guy.
Or not.
I wanted Ricky Rubio a while ago.
Yeah, the guys you want aren't signing here because they're the productive veterans are generally going to teams that they're either going somewhere where they can start, where they're basically trying to rehab some value to get a payday, or they're going somewhere they can probably have an off chance of winning. And there's just so Rubio's kind of, he got traded there, but it's hard. It's just hard to get those guys. I don't know.
Let's talk about the free agency, right? Yeah. So we offered more money to Kyle Lowry and Chris Paul, and they both went to Phoenix and Toronto. I'm sorry, not Toronto, Miami. And that just shows you, we tried to get some players this year.
The Chris Paul thing makes sense. The Kyle Lowry
one
is a head scratch.
But how did the Suns,
How is that a head scratcher? The Heat are light years ahead of us. When their whole team is healthy, they're NBA they're fringe championship contender.
Yeah, they were just there. They were just there. Yeah.
But how did the Suns, How did the Suns make that leap? Because they traded for Chris Paul. They kind of went. What was that trade exactly? Do you remember?
They gave Oklahoma City just a bunch of shit.
But the problem is that they traded well. They traded well. Griffin hasn't
drafted well too. You drafted.
They drafted well and they traded well. And they're in Phoenix. They have a shitty stadium. They're just like us. The problem is that Griffin hasn't really drafted well. He's done okay. Herb Jones is really nice. Zion's obvious.
Monty Williams helps too.
Monty Williams helps out, but Willie Green will be there too. But we haven't traded well. We traded Lonzo Ball for Temple and Satoransky. Can we?
Really bad deal.
Yeah.
I understand we didn't give Lonzo 22, 23 million, and I completely agree.
I'd rather do nothing. I know it's hard.
We basically
was a bunch of shit dumped into that deal, but
we didn't get anything from him.
Yeah, but you let him walk in free agency. That's what happened.
That's what. Yeah, we're lucky we did get any. I guess we're not lucky.
I honestly rather would just kept him. I honestly rather.
Well, I mean, that's easy to say now. I was just
sure it is. I've actually been saying for 365 days.
I said that last year. I'm just throwing it out.
All right, let's go to fan questions.
Who else is going to play it? Because we clearly don't have anyone else.
Yeah, so bunch of fan questions to get into. Pulling them up right now. Yeah,
top-notch operation.
I know it's loading. I'm trying to get it going here. Loading. All right, so yep, I'm gonna get there. I promise you I'm gonna get there. All right, here we go.
Jeopardy music.
My bad, fam. All right, here we go. So from Chris Young, who's just actually here. If Zion is as close as we hope, is there a trade we should be trying to make? And if so, what 3-point shooter should it be?
Everyone that'll listen to us about a 3-point shooter.
I mean,
that's hard to say.
It's a tough question.
Yeah.
I just don't know what we have really that moves the needle unless you're just going to package a ton of these picks up together. I don't.
Is there anybody who's on a shit team that like a veteran 3-point shooter that somebody's looking to dump?
Because
I mean, is
that going to help?
No, it won't hurt. I mean, to have the spacing, I guess, and to have somebody who can knock down a three a little bit more consistent.
But for what purpose? I mean, are you going to give up assets to give a guy that's going to
what assets? What assets?
Well, I mean, those picks are assets to a certain degree.
I mean,
so we still have 2 Milwaukee first rounds and how many of the Lakers won?
It all depends.
Pick swaps.
There's so swaps. Yeah,
pick swaps and second rounders. But that shows me as when you ask that question, that shows me as a buyer. I don't think we're not in position to be a buyer. We're selling.
What would you be buying?
What's what I'm saying?
For what purpose?
So we might as well start selling.
We're the island of misfit toys now. That's exactly what we are.
It's just tough right now. So next question, Giovanni Morvici. Can we he goes, obviously Sato is not the answer. What's a realistic replacement? And we talked about this. Like Jose Alvarez. I can't
give you. I mean, just give his minutes to Kyra. I mean,
right. So you would probably give Kyra 20-25 minutes then?
Yeah. I mean, there's not, you're not going to make some huge trade to improve the roster this year. It's probably just not going to happen. Because first of all, what are you going to do unless you're getting, somebody that's locked into multiple years, right? I mean, it's going to be Christmas. So this year is sort of a wrap. To a certain degree, and I don't see much value in you can dump Sato's contract with and attach a couple picks to it and get some other random veteran. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think you got what you got for the most part this year.
Okay, Steve, this one's for you from Pel Pals podcast who joined us in the suite last year. Where do y'all fall on embracing the tank? And how optimistic are y'all that the Pels can turn it around once Zion comes back?
I don't like a tank, man.
I'm so over it.
I don't like it. I want to see these guys still play hard to even maybe give us some light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, and especially it's not good for Willie first year out and you're going to tank your first year. Like this isn't a spot where you want to start and just first year it's just going to be a toss away.
When you tank, right? Usually you tank without all-stars. Honestly, JV's playing an all-star clip. Brandon Ingram's obviously an all-star, and so is Zion. It's infuriating to hear the word tank and have that kind of talent on your roster. That's why I hate the embracing of the tank.
That's it, though.
And that's the problem. And whose fault is that? And we've talked about it. It's David Griffin's fault for not building a deep bench and guys to surround. Do you like Paolo or Chet from Pel's Pod? I'm sorry, from Pel Pals podcast. I messed that up. Paolo or Chet?
I watched a little bit of the Paolo guy and I wasn't in love. I
mean, he cramps up at a weird rate.
He loses 7 pounds a game.
You saw that report? It's wild.
7 pounds a game, and he drinks some type of special.
He still cramps up.
He drinks MJ special stuff.
When I tell you I hate college basketball, I really dislike the sport.
Really?
I think it's an awful product, just a genuinely awful product. If you watch a ton of NBA, are you kidding me? It's terrible. You have to take it for what it is. And if you're watching,
you should get this guy at a high school basketball game. They throw up everywhere.
It's the same thing. I mean, a high school game is basically the same thing as college. I mean, look, and if I'll go back to this. I mean, if you're looking for random shooters, I think it was a guy you wanted in the offseason. I'm sure that the Kings would move off of Buddy Hield. Like I'm
bring him back, baby.
That's a guy that you could probably.
He's a shitty team with De'Aaron Fox too. That's a guy who creates separation. But,
that's basically we have poor man De'Aaron Fox right now. I think in Cairo.
So you're gonna have to cough up probably a pick or two to get somebody like that. Is it worth it? I don't know. I mean,
I'd rather go for Fox over Buddy Hield if we're going to there.
I would throw the world.
Yeah, kitchen.
I would throw the world at him. I hope I'm pronouncing his last name right. TJ Duffer. Could probably definitely mess that up. But thoughts on Didi's future? I'll take this one. I don't think there really. I don't really think there is a. There is none. Like everyone was really high on Didi and things like that. He shot 18% in Australia. Did y'all there's no future. He's on steroids and none of the coaching staff or whatever his PEDs.
Got that back
there was just no. I think we did that thing, Ross, that you always say, where like we blow up someone's expectations. Like he's not that very good. Like I don't know what he does well.
We are the engine in a hot air balloon. We just pump it up.
I just don't.
Another guy that might actually be totally separate here, by the way, going back to the Buddy Hield thing.
You even crossed her.
Yeah, is another guy that has had a weird sort of run with, had an off court deal. Is Malik Beasley is kind of a combo guard. He's just up in Minnesota. They've got D'Angelo Russell and they've got Anthony Edwards and sort of like.
But then is it too late?
But I mean, he's a guy that's in for multiple years. Theoretically, you can play him. I mean, I don't think he's shooting it great this year, but historically is a really good 3-point shooter. Plays just a little bit of defense. I don't know. I'm just thinking about guys. If you were going to get something that as you enter the back half of the year or enter next year, it's like, oh, okay, this guy like might be able to help do some things and probably wouldn't cost you a shitload in terms of acquiring. I think my biggest concern right now is I don't think the team we have is very good for this year, and I'm hesitant to give up. Unless it's something that if it can't help you next year, you don't do the deal.
Right. Appreciate the question, TJ. B Grizzly at Kings B_53 kind of touched on a little bit, Steven, but will they ever try Jackson as a backup power forward? So basically backing up Brandon, but we haven't really seen him shoot it at a high clip.
Yeah.
If he can shoot, he asked if he can shoot, he's a much better fit at power forward than center, and I completely agree with. I agree with if he can shoot it, but he hasn't really shown.
I'll answer that one. No.
Yeah,
I don't think he can go. I don't think he has nearly. I mean, he doesn't have nearly the defensive IQ to guard. I mean, now you start guarding power forwards. You're getting guys that are running around the perimeter a little more.
Guys, like it's not
even all the time. Stretch guys.
Yes, we're back.
Oh, there we are. Hello.
Go ahead.
Technical difficulties.
Is I can turn on any night of the week and watch the Knicks play the Pacers in a random Eastern Conference game that I shouldn't care about and watch the entire game back and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
You make me watch like a Purdue against Colorado game, I'd rather stick needles in my eyeballs.
Thank you for that killer dropping. Let's get to the next question. Duke Stan Pels fan, do you think Bled passed his grift blackmail to Sato? And what do you think it could be, Steven?
I don't understand what the hell you just said.
Yeah, what did you I don't understand Twitter lingo.
I don't either. No.
Do you think Bledsoe passed his grift blackmail to Satoransky? And what do you think it could be?
Man, that would be funny.
Like, if basically saying, why does he play so much?
No, yeah. I think people are, you specifically, he's a veteran. Right. He's played a little bit. Like he's I wouldn't even be surprised if we cut him at some point in the middle of the year.
That's
like
10. I mean, he's making, you believe he's making 10 million?
Yeah, but he's off the books at the end of this year. He's just a veteran that's like probably doesn't cause a lot of trouble. And I mean, I just don't care about him because we suck this year and he's gone. There's no way he's back next year. So like, whatever.
Trouble.
That's a couple more.
He's a good kid. He's a good kid.
Nice guy. Real great locker room guy. Great locker room.
JC, so at outro Jose Mas _ mixed in there. What do you think about the Sato minutes? He's absolutely atrocious, and I agree with you here. He says, I think Trey should take all of them, no matter if he makes a lot of rookie mistakes. We touched on that.
Yep.
Completely agree on that, JC. Thanks for the question, brother. Dustin Paul, our guy, Dustin, with Big League Take. How much longer until they build a Jonas Valanciunas statue outside the arena? I think they should build it now.
He brings us a ring, then we'll talk about it.
AJ Vallon, the fourth at AJ Vallon. So what has been, this is an interesting question. I actually like it. What has been the hardest game to watch this year, and which was the most fun to watch?
I mean, last night was probably one of the worst.
The game I went to was phenomenal.
The Clippers game.
The Clipper game last week was phenomenal.
That was good. The last one I went to when we won last week was pretty good. Who did we play?
The Clippers game.
Yeah.
No.
Game. The one right after. Washington?
Yeah.
Washington.
That was a pretty good game against Beal. Beal was playing everything looked good. It was a nice game.
Yeah, those three. Yeah. I would say either the two. The Clippers went on the road. The Clippers went at home.
The Clippers went at home was pretty nice too. Yeah, that was nice.
So those three.
The Clipper went on the road. Yeah.
The last night. I mean, not just saying because we were there, but last night was hard.
Last night was hard. I think for me, it was. Damn, who did we just get run out of the building by? I know in that it was Minnesota. The Minnesota game, but for me at home, that's the one.
Yeah.
I mean, that was hard to watch. That was probably that's probably for me. So and he goes, would you like to see the Pels make a trade this year or hold off? And then we kind of touched on that.
It has to be the right. It's got to be the right situation.
So,
the right thing. Not just going to trade just to trade. Just
I think if you could go get. I think if you could go get a wing or a guard, a young wing or guard
that you can develop, but we haven't developed.
Yeah, let's not talk about development. We haven't done that.
Yeah. So last question. Appreciate all the questions, guys. It's awesome. So Carrie at the_EZ_life.
Yeah, I get it.
Are you going to finally acknowledge Steven as being right in his hot takes earlier this year? I mean, Carrie, this guy's been. I don't know. I mean, Carrie, first off, this guy's been talking about this all day.
I've been wanting to know what this is. This is the first time I've actually gotten a call up for somebody.
You should probably go follow him.
What was his hot? What hot?
I
take,
don't remember.
I
did
like a refresher
at the beginning of the year.
There's a lot of
because the BI playing hard bad was just.
It wasn't playing bad. I was upset. You made me pick. Y'all all said that we couldn't pick the Zion stuff. What was even the question? Oh, what was I?
Who's the most disappointing? What has been most disappointing so far this season?
He hasn't picked up a win for us.
You laid it down on Brandon Ingram.
He has
the humble beast.
Who are we trading for? We need any guard.
Apparently, that's one of his nicknames. The humble beast.
The humble beast.
Tiny. He's got basketball reference. Here's a good trivia question. Basketball reference lists Brandon Ingram with 3 nicknames. Can anyone give me one?
No, I've never.
Skinny, slim.
No, Slender Man.
Slender Man. Okay.
Humble Beast.
Humble
And
Beast.
my personal favorite, Tiny Dog.
What? Why is he tiny dog?
I don't know.
Guy's 6'9".
No.
Can we get BI? We need you to hop on and give us the background on some of these nicknames. Tiny Dog is fantastic. I'm going to say, next game if he's inbounded in front of you, just say Tiny Dog. Yeah.
God, yes.
Okay, so Kerry, appreciate the question. He also asked who we trading for, and kind of went over that. So, well, this podcast is off the rails.
Little puppy.
I can't get over Tiny Dog. How could you call someone 6'8" tiny?
I don't know. We got to.
Maybe it's like the irony. Maybe it's the irony of it. You call a big guy tiny. You know.
We need more info there. I'm gonna let you do the recon on that.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the guy for it. Once again, guys, if you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, really helps our podcast out. Once again, incredible amount of support with the t-shirts. I can't thank y'all enough. All the t-shirts are coming out. We had to literally reorder from our manufacturer because we sold out
t-shirts.
over 100+ sales over the weekend. Third Taysom.
That one didn't sell very well. I gotta buy some more of that one. I made that one.
And then always, guys, the fan interactions on Twitter and Instagram have been fantastic. Once again, you can follow us on Pro Pels Talk on Twitter or Instagram. You can always see our podcast here on our YouTube channel. Shout out to Boo Crew Media. Shout out to Company Burger. And, of course, shout out to DraftKings. Pels play tomorrow in Dallas on Friday. That would be tomorrow. Yes, Friday. And then Sunday in Houston. Hopefully we can go 2-0 there and get on a little win streak. Do you want to say something? It looks like you good?
No.
You're good.
I'm good. Thank you for asking.
Steven, gets out of here.
Kisses.